city of Melbourne, Australia, a city that in less than a century and a half has grown to be among the biggest in the British Commonwealth. A city famed for many attributes, not the least of which is a horse race. This is how it all starts. A race that begins at Carnival. A carnival that transforms a city, and a city that beckons a nation. And the Mecca is Melbourne. Down Flemington's Straight 6, the only one in Australia, sprint aristocrats battle for the rich Cravenay Stakes. Months of work have gone into the preparation of these champion thoroughbreds. But preparations have not been restricted to stable and track. Carnival time is fashion time, not only for the proud possessor of Paris models, but also for the amateur designer who can create a dream within a modest budget. For some stylish girl, on the judge's decision depends a trip to Royal Ascot, England, or in another section, a Falcon sedan for a masterpiece in millinery. She'd need a station wagon for headroom. Outwardly, the 2 million people of the southern metropolis seem to be proceeding much the same as usual. But there's a buzz of excitement above the hum of traffic. And in that stream of cars, a daily increase in the number plates from other states. Flinders Street, one of the world's busiest railway stations, steps up the tempo. And trams transport thousands of visitors down the wide, leafy boulevards. The modern racing centre has been the planning point, where for the past year all have worked to make the coming carnival more successful than the last. Few places are busier than the Government Tourist Bureau, which advises on such added attractions as concerts at the Myer Music Bowl. Races? What races? Yacht races. Where else can one go to sea in the heart of a city except on this broad expanse of water at Melbourne's Albert Park? There's jockeying for positions, gentle reins on the tiller, distinctive colours for every owner. This situation seems to call, if not for a traffic cop, at least for the stewards. It's all a matter of timing. Yes, there's timing too in the planting of seedlings to ensure lovely blooms for just the right week in spring. In the language of flowers, pansies are for thoughts. And in the springtime, a young girl's thoughts lightly turn to love. The graceful swan is possibly glad he's not a turkey at this festive time. But instead of birds feeding people, the situation's reversed, and everything's just ducky. But as the day sings its swan song, it's on a bright and happy note. The glowing melody beckons like a siren's song as Melbourne attunes itself to show the charms of night. Coming events are casting their bright shadows in front of them. Melbourne, though acknowledged the Queen City of the South, can unbend when she wants to. Migrant influence and the transplanting of continental cultures are reflected in sophisticated restaurants. And this scene in Melbourne by the Yarra could just as easily be in Paris or Rome. This, to turn a phrase, is the place for a vintage. The Chinese were the first to open national restaurants in Melbourne. Then followed the Italians. But today, the range of food and cuisine uses the sources and resources of the whole Epicurean world. Cabarets sparkle with bright floor shows, and visitors are able to wine and dine with the chorus line. Youth literally has its fling at other less formal places. With the popularity of nightclubs, Melbourne sees a regular flow of overseas artists, especially at cup time. Coinciding with the Carnival, another annual event that focuses all eyes on Melbourne, the judging of the Miss Australia competition, with lovely, talented girls from every state in the Commonwealth parading before the judges. Yesterday, a girl from a little town some had never even heard of. Tonight, a queen of beauty with fame and fortune before her. Every function is an elaborate build-up to the great day itself. Cup Day at last. And from first light on that first Tuesday in November, Cup fever really takes over. In the biggest cities and the smallest country towns, all ask the same question. What do you think will win the Cup? It's usual for special plane loads of race fans to cross the wild, wide Tasman from New Zealand. But it's nothing unusual for the same planes to take back most of the prize money. From all over Australia, too, special planes add their quota, all with hopes flying high. The beautiful Flemington course quickly begins to fill. And from the look of the car park, not all the punters came by air. Here's a scene that rivals Royal Ascot in tradition and style. Well, Canberra must be deserted, for most of the diplomatic and consular corps seem to be here, no doubt with good tips tucked away in the diplomatic bag. If you've got a racing secret, keep it under your hat. The judges have been busy in the fashion competition, and presentation of prizes to the lucky winners gives added interest each day. And she really is a winner. But there's another winner to pick, and not long to make the choice, as Cup starters will soon be on their way to the post. Some keen followers have had their minds made up for months. Others look for a last-minute sign or omen. Away from the course, all Australia slows down to a stop. Only seconds to starting time. Every radio station in the nation is tuned to Melbourne. Every transistor, mantle model and console waits for that moment of truth when no more minds can be changed and no more bets can be placed. Soon, there'll be no argument as to the year's best racehorse.
Broadcasting from the Flemington racetrack, the 26 runners have lined up for the running of the Melbourne Cup. The line is perfect. And they're up and racing in the Ridge 2-miler. A wall of horses break from the stalls with Aquanita and La Storm on the inside very fast out. Del Riata and Welcome Prince in the centre are very prominent. And the Dip and Even Stevens forging ahead from the outside pack. Down the straight the first time, Del Riata the grey white out as the leader from Summer Prince, and the Dip is in behind them, followed by Even Stevens cutting across towards the rails and swinging out of the straight with 10 to go. Summer Prince the leader from the Dip, followed by Lord Fury, Come On and Del Riata. The Storm is next from River Seine, followed by Silver Pelt, Welcome Prince and Marco Khan out wide. Then Even Stevens, Last Hand and Big Burn. A fair gap to Aquanita and Blue Sean, the last two. Rural Lock and Tamure as they swing along past the 4.5. Come On as the leader. Here in front of Summer Prince, there's a fall. A harmless tumble there by Marco Khan, and Come On led the way here from Aquanita, moving up very fast from the outside to go to the lead, and Even Stevens getting a nice run. In the home straight, it's Even Stevens racing up now to the leader, Aquanita, and they're followed closely by Comaquita flashing up fast, but Even Stevens is starting to streak away now from the others. Comaquita is finishing well, but all too late, and Even Stevens takes the big one out. Even Stevens wins the Melbourne Cup in second placing then.
And so another Melbourne Cup has been decided. And win or lose, its followers will all benefit from their bout of Cup fever. Perhaps next year, they'll be among the lucky ones to cheer champions of the turf, when a great city will present an even bigger field of fashions, flowers and favourites.